The following broadcast is a presentation of Mount Zion Media Ministry.
Chapter 5, verses 22, 23, I want to read. But verse 22 says, "But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, gentleness, goodness, faith, meekness, temperance." And meekness and temperance is the fruit that we will look at today. And I didn't say that meekness and temperance are the fruit, because this fruit is not plural, it's one. And all of the attributes of this fruit that we'll talk about make one fruit. And so today we look at meekness and temperance. And so the subject of the sermon is living in the Spirit, part 4. And there's a subtopic to this one. And it says, they underestimated you. And if media would hold that picture there for a moment, that's Muhammad Ali, as probably 99% of you know. And that's Sonny Liston on the floor. That's the first round of their second fight. Muhammad Ali, at the age of 22, coming out of prison because of his objection to the draft, wanted a chance at the then heavyweight champion of the world, Sonny Liston, who had proven to be a force to be reckoned with. Boxers said that he had the hardest punch that they had ever experienced, and if he hit you with it right, there was nowhere to go but down. And Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali, and his people managed to get a fight with the heavyweight champion of the world. And nobody gave Ali a chance. The gamblers, the people who fix the bets in Vegas and Miami, they had him as a major underdog. And Sonny Liston talked about him, about how he was going to beat him and mess that pretty face up. But Ali, in that first fight, stunned the world. He made Sonny Liston look, I won't say like a fool, but he made him look like an immature rookie boxer. He danced, he weaved, he bobbed. When Liston would bring that heavy right in there, he stuck it in, he brought it out. And all he could do was wave by him. And the people in the audience, they were stunned as Ali bounced, floated like a, what is it? And stung him like a bee. And they all watched in amazement. And finally, when Ali got through dancing and humiliating him, he went to work on him. And in the latter middle rounds, Liston didn't come out the corner. He'd been beat so bad. So he asked for a rematch. He needed a rematch, and so that's the rematch. And in the first round, Ali said, I won't play with you like I did the last time. In the first round, he knocked him out. And nobody gave Ali a chance. They underestimated this 22-year-old going up against the veteran, Sonny Liston. Thank you, media. And what I want to say to you today in this text, as I preach this, teach this, that there are some people who underestimated you. And I'm going to unpack that in a minute. Yeah. I need you to understand something. That the reason folk look at you, and when they size you up and they underestimate your capacity, is because they're looking at the wrong thing. I want you to, not now, but every time people underestimate you, I want you to go and read 1 Samuel chapter 16, because God says something in there that we run past too quick. He gave the prophet, the judge Samuel, an assignment. Go down to Jesse's house and anoint my next king. I'm rejecting Saul, and my next king is in Jesse's house. And so Samuel goes and has Jesse to call all of his sons together, and Jesse calls 7. And when Samuel looks at the sons, he sees the oldest and immediately says to himself, this is the king. He looks at his size, he looks at his demeanor, he looks at his strength, he looks at what he believes is his capacity based on his assessment of what he sees with his natural eye, and said that has to be the king. And the assignment was, I'm not going to tell you what his name is, but when they come before you, take the oil, the bottle of oil, and just pour. And when my choice comes, I'm going to cause the oil to pour. Listen now, take the top off it. And I won't take the top off this because I don't want water everywhere. And turn it up, and I'm going to hold it in. I need to convince folk that it's my choice. So take the top off and turn it up, and nothing will come out until I get ready. And so he paraded those boys, and 7 came through. And Samuel said, God, I know God didn't make a mistake. So Jesse, is there another boy somewhere? And listen to what God says to Samuel. Nobody that came under that, neither of those 7 boys are my choice. And listen to what I want you to hear, Samuel. You looked at that boy and thought he was my choice because people judge by the outward appearance, but I look at the heart. I look at what's in them. And we run to the part and shout, God looks at the heart. God knows what's in you. But you missed the point. People look at you, size you up on outer appearance. And anytime you're dealing with people, you got to know they're looking at you, sizing you up on outer appearance. And what a terrible mistake that is. Terrible mistake that is. Because you really don't see the essence of who a person is based on what you see on the outside. I'm talking to somebody in here right now. You got in trouble, didn't you? Because you went with the outside. You're miserable right now because you went with the outside. You broke right now. You lost all your money because you went with the outside. You got children by a sperm donor because you went with, help me, Jesus. And so you got to understand that when you're dealing with folk, and you too need to be aware that you got to be careful about that outside observation. And so when people look at you, they judge you. And I am a person, I don't like the word they. When they say they. When I was a little boy, I used to use that with my daddy. Daddy, they made me they. Daddy said, they who? And if I said it too long, he said it another way, who in the blank is they? But today I'm making an exception because I don't know who the they are in your life. But what I am certain of is that at some point in our life, all of us encountered a day that underestimated us because they sized us up based on outer appearance. Yeah. They looked over you. Maybe it was the way you look. Maybe what you drove, or where you live or didn't live, what you wore, the length of your hair, the complexion of your skin. the degree you had or the degree you didn't have, or the size of your bank account, but for whatever reason, they looked over you because they underestimated you. I don't know who that day is that overlooked you, but perhaps you're still carrying the pain of being overlooked. And then there are folk in here who've been oppressed in some way, and the person who oppressed you made the decision to oppress you because they decided based on appearance they could dominate you. And I need about 5 people in this chat place to go ahead and write, they underestimated me. They came at me. They came at you. They said insulting things about you. They sought to tarnish your reputation and your character. They sought to come after your employment, to get you fired, to get you demoted, to even keep you from getting the job. They undermined your progress, thinking that they could do it. See, they didn't do it to Johnny over there or Susie over there because they felt they couldn't get away with it, but they looked at you. So I can mess over them and they ain't got no comeback. I don't know who that day is in your past that oppressed you and hurt you because they figure they get away with it. And see, I'm familiar with that because when I was young, there was this one boy, Johnny C. Thomas, used to bully me because he looked at me and said, oh, I got him. And he bullied me for a long time until I learned something. And so, a day, and I don't want to be too long, but is there a day in your past that looked at you, underestimated you, and then and when they left you, they thought, oh, they won't be able to make it. They through. They're ruined. They can't be without me. If I don't help them, if I'm not in their life, they can't make it. Well, here is what I want to say to all the days in the world. You can't judge by what you see on the outside. And you can't even judge based on our behavior because we're deeper than our behavior. See, the fruit of the Spirit, when he says temperance, matter of fact, I want you to underline these 2 last fruit. Go to 23 because these are going to be critical. Amen? And so underline it and write you a note. Meekness and temperance. Meekness and temperance. Temperance and meekness. These flow out of each other back and forth to help you do something. And remember this, the meekness and the temperance is produced in you by the Spirit. And it operates from the inside out. And the reason God gives us meekness is this. The meekness enables us to be strong, to be able to handle all of the overlooking, the oppression, and all of the stuff that people throw at us because they underestimate us. But here it is. They underestimate our strength because when you have meekness produced by the Spirit, it cloaks the meekness in humility. And so I am humble. I don't respond to all your stuff. I act mild and meek, and you misunderstand my mildness, my gentleness, my not coming back at you as a sign of weakness. But what you really don't understand is that my ability to act in humility is a representation of my real power. See, a picture of meekness is when you catch a wild horse running wild, one of them Mustangs out there in the wild somewhere. As long as that Mustang is wild, he's no use to anybody. But you get that Mustang and tame him. It's a good riding horse. It's a good show horse. It's just a good horse, but he's no good unless somebody brings that strength under control. And that horse just trots around like a little meek regular horse, but you know, that ain't no regular horse right there. And what you need to understand is that God gives you, as a child of God, meekness and humility. And it's humility toward him. You're not disputing and resisting him. You're not having to dispute people and resist people and argue and go back and forth. I don't have time for that. I got more important stuff to do. And if you want to know, how strong is the strength that comes with meekness? Jesus said, come unto me, all you that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Take a yoke upon me and learn of me, because I'm meek and lowly. Meek, lowly, humility. My meekness is disguised in my humility. Find a stronger man than the man called Jesus, and you won't ever find one. He had power over nature, over everything, and you saw him demonstrate it. But perhaps the most powerful demonstration of his meekness is when they came after him. I wish you could have been there that Thursday night. The mob came. You know, cowards come in crowds. See, if you're a real man, you don't need 10 other folk to come with you to get one man. It's mano a mano, man to man. Don't bring your coward self to me with the whole party. And they came with their clubs and knives, and Jesus said, hold up. Y'all coming at me? Don't bother them. I've been out in public, and you didn't come after me, but now you're going to come up on me like this? I'm not going to run. I'm not going to fight you. Everybody needed Peter, and so Peter took his sword out and cut his ear off. Jesus said, hold up, Peter, hold up. I don't need you to cut him. I got this. He surrendered to them. They took him, and when they started to hurl insults again, they mistook his meekness for weakness, and so they just started slapping him, regular men slapping him, spitting on him, hurling insults at him. You saved others, come down and save yourself. And what the old folks say, he never said a mumbling word. And the true demonstration of strength was never to say a mumbling word. And listen, all Jesus had to do was just say the word. And the fighting angels would have come from heaven to fight for him. But even if he didn't call the angels, as my daddy said, he could have blanked his eye. And every thug in there would have fallen dead. But his strength was disguised by his humility. Listen at me. See, because the humility again toward God allows you to have a connection with God. And so while they are doing all that, Jesus said, yeah, it's your day now. Thursday night, it's yours. Do what you want to do. Okay, Friday, I'm going to let you have Friday. Go ahead, nail me to a cross. Go ahead, pierce me in the side. Go ahead, y'all come by and mock me. But this is what I know. I don't have to deal with this now, because this is part of God's plan for my life, and I'm surrendered to his plan. And so you rejoicing over Thursday and Friday, but this is where I can be still. I know Sunday coming. I know Sunday coming, and when Sunday comes, I don't know who I'm talking to, but you in Thursday or Friday, and you want to do something, you just can't help yourself right now. But baby, be still until Sunday come. And when Sunday come, you're going to come up out of that with all power. Power to deal with. And then permission. God was fighting the battle. And his humility helped him, enabled him not to lose the power and destroy all of them. And here it is. Another piece of that strength that comes in meekness, they didn't destroy him. And that's what I want to tell you. Those folk who thought they're doing whatever they did to you was going to take you out, send them a little note. Baby, you meant it for evil, but God using it for my good. Hold up. I told y'all I got to preach this thing. Hold up. Put a post on your Facebook, your Instagram, your TikTok. Stop trolling, stalking my page. You waiting on me to look bad. Baby, I won't be looking bad. You waiting on me to fall. I won't be falling. You waiting on me to post something that suggests that I'm in misery and I can't make it because of what you tried to do to me. But I want you to know God just taking me higher and higher. You thought I wasn't going to make it. You thought I wasn't going to rise to the next level. You thought it was over based on what you saw. But God is keeping me. And the reason I'm still standing is because the fruit of meekness is working in my life. I'm stronger than I look. I don't have them biceps like some of these folk out there. No, I don't even think I can make a muscle right now. But let me tell you what, there's some power in there. Yeah. Maurice, I know you remember. You remember when I used to jump on top of this when I was preaching? I'm scared to try that now, Maurice. But Maurice, I got more power now than I had when I was jumping up on this podium. But one day I plan to try it again. I'm gonna see if the Lord just bounce me up there and bounce me off. So I got to get up out of here. And so it's the meekness and the humility. And let me just say this to you. Those of you that's walking around with no humility, loud and talking trash and always got yeah, that's a sign to us that you're really weak. Your loudness reveals your insecurity. Because when you know that you know, it don't take all that. And so meekness and then temperance. And then the temperance comes with the meekness because, again, you got all this power. It's operated in humility, and you can use it at any time. And so what the temperance does is give you I call it holy self-control. And it works like this. And so, again, there may be a part of me that want to, lash out, but I got too much control for that. You want me to stalk you. You want me to run behind you. And there may be a part of me that want to come back to you. But I got too much self-control for that. You want me to fight you back. You want me to get in a public discourse with you. I got too much self-control for that. The devil comes at you with all kind of temptation to get you off track. Come on, devil, throw it at me. I got too much self-control. And the self-control is not in myself, but it's the other person in myself that works through myself. And some of you just walking around here bragging and boasting about how strong you are and what you don't do no more. And how you, that's the fruit of the Spirit called temperance. And so temptation don't knock you out. And then you can handle other people when you're in their midst. And they start getting crazy. And there are some people that ought to send you a note. Thank you. And I'm thankful that God gave you temperance. Because I know you wanted to and could have taken me out. That night when I was sleeping, you stood over me, ready to pull the trigger, ready to stab me. See, I'm from Cairo. Every now and then I have to just remind y'all, you ready to starve me? Not stab, stop. He starved them yesterday. And you ready to stab me. You ready to get revenge on me, and you could have got it. Y'all heard that song, Young Folk, about I Deserve? Y'all know what I'm talking about. You deserve to be got back. But because the person has self-control, they don't act the fool. I'm not all over you. I'm not in church acting crazy. I'm not at my job acting crazy. I'm in my house minding my business. And the power I got with the humility that it is cloaked in and the temperance that God has given me to use it in a special way, I'm going to act like I'm supposed to act. I'm going to remember it may be Thursday, Friday, but Sunday coming. And while I'm waiting on Sunday, I'm going to be still. Now let me flip this and I'll be through. I've been talking about the people who underestimate you. But this is what I want to say to you now. Don't you dare underestimate yourself. Yeah. See, I see too many believers. You have not attempted the things that God has put in you. See, an outward expression, demonstration of your faith, in part, can be seen in what you attempt to do. And there are some things that God has said you ought to be doing, but you can't even attempt it because you've underestimated yourself. Maybe the narrative that other people have painted about you has penetrated your soul, and you believe that foolishness. That's why I firmly believe that parents ought to keep these systems that we are part of from putting labels on your children that diminish their belief in themselves. Because once that is internalized, then there are certain things that I can't tell. I got a reading disorder. So the rest of my life, I'm not reading because as a child, somebody told me I had a disorder. Will you read that? I can't read. I got a disorder. Can you do that math? No, I can't read. They told me I had a learning disability, so I can't learn. And do you notice that the only people that allow folk to put label on their children look like me and you, and then when there are other people who have issues, there are labels given, but they're not diminishing. Let me just say this, and I'll get back to this preaching part. Do you notice that when the African American community was overrun with crack and cocaine use, they call it a war on drugs? And do you know now that there's this opioid epidemic, and there are people in other neighborhoods being hooked? It's an epidemic, and they're suing the people.
Thanks for watching. Be blessed and continue walking in the light.